Hello and welcome to a new vlog as it's the 1st of September and wow, coming up to autumn now, and the last month for me has been pretty action packed to a point where I haven't been getting a lot of sleep, and to a point where it's been tiring. A mixture of stuff I've been doing for the channel and some things to do with health as well. So there's a lot of things going on with my health where it's kind of been a bit all over the place these days, and I'm trying to get everything under control. And it's like now it's a matter of tests, medication being increased, blah blah blah, etc etc. So that's kind of not been easy, and it's when it seems to be, when it's not one thing, it seems to be something else that seems to happen. So it kind of slows down the things that I kind of want to do in my personal life, whether it comes to streaming or, you know, uploading more videos, making new videos, doing other things that are different in my personal life. So it's kind of been difficult. So I'm hoping that obviously with this month now things will be a bit calmer. It's been kind of a usual where I've been collecting some new video games. Well, not new video games, but obviously in terms of bargains, and which I've managed to find some. And it's been one of those things where you kind of iffing and butting, or should I or should I not buy this particular thing? And it's always one of these things where you decide not to get something, whether it's a Blu-ray or a movie or a video game or clothing material or anything like that. And then as soon as you really want it, it's either gone or they've racked up the price of it. And then especially in this day and age now, especially in the UK, where I know it's like this across the world, where things are a lot more expensive, and then you've got inflation, and it's not kind of easy. So any little bargain that you can do in this world, or you can get on certain things, you might take it while you can. It's my only advice. Whether it's a video game where you see it at a very good price, and you're iffing and buying whether you should bite the cherry and get it while you can, because it's either going to go up or it's going to disappear, especially video games. But yeah, I've been collecting a few video games. I got a couple for the Switch too, which I've already uploaded, and I'm going to be gifted a Switch 2 game, and it's actually a pretty big game. It's of a game that has recently come out from Nintendo. So I'm hoping that I'm still able to. I'm going to be still gifted this, and if and when I do, you'll be the first people to sit there and see the unboxing of that particular video game. And people can kind of work out as to what it is, because there's obviously Switch 2. There's a few new releases that have been coming out. And then I've already pre-ordered ages ago, Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta. I think it came on the 28th, I think, and my one hasn't been sent out yet. Another friend of mine, he ordered the game about a year ago, and his one has been sent out, but I don't know where he's ordered his one from. So trying to find out as to what's going on with that. And then my one is the day one edition, so I don't know what the difference is with that game. Hopefully it's a Metal Gear Solid 3, but I originally played the PS3, was one of my favorite games. There's something about it, although it's been a bit of a pain trying to play through that game, because obviously, you know, the music at the beginning of it, and I'm thinking if I do, whether I live stream it or do it offline, what I might do is I might pause the intro scene where you got the music, because I don't want to get copyright strikes. So it's the only way to be able to play that particular game. So I'm looking forward to hopefully that arriving, and then we'll do an unboxing video on my YouTube channel when it eventually comes. Hopefully, I'm hoping sometime this week, because obviously today is the 1st of Monday, and it's just about 3 AM in the morning. I've just uploaded a couple, a few new videos. One, something that my family bought, and obviously they want to use that particular product, or it's an electrical product that they want to use. So I'm obviously going to film it, and then I just want to get stuff out of the way and delete videos that I've already uploaded, because obviously it takes up memory, especially when you're doing it on your phone. So yeah, and then obviously finding Blu-ray bargains here and there. And it's another thing what I was saying earlier a couple of minutes ago about you if and button about buying something, and then by the time you get it, you decide to get it, goes up. And it's especially with Blu-ray movies as well, especially when you buy them second hand, and you gotta sometimes think, right, is it, you'll wonder yourself, is it gonna get cheaper, or will it go down a little bit more? And then you go, sometimes you just have to take the chance and then just get it. Same thing with beauty products, where I bought a new body wash from TK Maxx, which I haven't filmed yet, and they had various different fragrances available, and I bought one, and let's say it was $2.99 when I bought it, and when I went back there to try to get another one, to get the other fragrance, it's gone up to $9.99, so that's gone up by about nearly by £7 compared to one, and that was only less than 3 days after prior to when I bought the first one. So it just shows that sometimes in life that you're better off buying it. Yeah, but again, it's something that you don't know about, but maybe they might put it back down and I can try the other fragrances. That's if the first one that I've got is actually any good. So yeah, we'll do that. I'm trying to do more movie reviews of movies that I have in my collection. As you can see the selection of the movies I get. This is only a tiny fraction of what I've got, because even what you can see on display there's several layers behind there, and then the bookcase goes down further up. So, and I've got other bookcases as well, and other bookcases. So I've got tons of Blu-rays and DVDs as well. So I want to start doing more reviews, but I find that doing the short reviews of all, you don't get a lot to say in 15 seconds, and I have to keep filming it to fit everything in. I feel that works for me, because also you've got the different YouTubers that are doing their various different YouTube reviews of movies and TV shows, and they've got their own way of doing it, and it's very difficult trying to do a review of a movie that's going to stand out differently to what some of the obviously bigger YouTubers are doing. So I found, and I'm not sure if people are liking the 15-second format, which I find for me kind of works. You can fit in it, and it can be quick and it can be easy, and for me I kind of like it that way. I do realise that I have to do these short reviews of the new Superman movie and Fantastic Four, which I'll get around to doing. They're still filling in movies anyway, so, and especially with Superman, I'm definitely going to be buying that when that's eventually released at some point. Obviously, people know I'm a Superman fan, especially with, if I can show some camera, that, so you can see how much Superman, and you can already see the 2 movie collection of Superman, the movie extended cut and the movie special edition. And obviously we've had the recent death of Terrence Stamp, who obviously people of an old age will know him for playing General Zod in Superman 1 and 2. Was it Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, which I've never seen, but I know he's in that. He was the voice of Jor-El from season 1 to season 7 of Smallville, so that was kind of great to have that Superman tie. And I recently watched him in this movie called The Limey, which I think I did a review of that. I think I did. And I definitely recommend watching that movie if you haven't already watched it. But yeah, it's really sad to lose another movie legend as in Terrence Stamp. So rest in peace, Terrence Stamp. So again, I'm hopefully going to be doing more movie reviews, but it's just difficult. It's depending on the movie I like, or if I've got the time to watch it, because it's very difficult. And then my local cinema on Mondays does the budget Mondays, so I don't have Nobody 2's come out yet, but I would have loved to see that, but at the moment now I don't have the energy. And then even though the few videos that I had to do, including this one, it's been tiring and then really painful, because also as before I had another health issue, and fingers crossed I'm slowly recovering from that, and I'm a bit worried about I would lose a appendage, because obviously with the diabetes and stuff. So I'm hoping, it seems this particular issue seems to be getting better. So still in a tiny little bit of pain, but way better than feeling than what I did before. Again, I'm not going to bore people with health issues as well, because obviously nobody really cares, and you know, I don't want people playing the violin and feeling sorry for me, stuff like that. And then I've been doing things like collecting more vinyls, which I do need a record player. Well, I do have one, but don't forget, it doesn't work anymore. It's my late grandfather, who died in 1979, so it's a very old record player, and it used to work, but now it doesn't. But it's just a matter of trying to find a good quality record player, because I've seen some of the small portables you can get on Amazon for like 30 or 40 quid. But then the reviews have been hearing horror stories about that. So it's something that you're gonna have to. If I'm gonna get a record player, I'm gonna have to make a sizable investment in one, which in the future I will do. But buying a records won't do any harm because they won't be going anywhere, so to speak. So yeah, I've got them, and there's quite a few more. I've only been on buying of one particular artist, but I have been looking on different artists, and looking at their vinyl. But some of them have been quite expensive, especially that some of them have been rare. But for me, it's going to be looking out for like kind of bargains. And now I actually miss the record shops that used to be available in especially my town, and in every town in basically in London, really where there was the independent record stores that you get. And I wish I'd started back then. And then even though I was collecting tapes and CDs at the time, but it's never too late to to kind of start collecting anything in life. So yeah, I've been doing that. And then obviously the Blu-rays and the video games, but I've been collecting and getting them at a price because I'm not going to be, again, paying extortionate fees for video games these days because they're far too expensive as it is. I've pre-ordered the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection because obviously the amount of games are on there where obviously you'll have the arcade versions of the Mortal Kombat 1, which I don't think I ever played. I've played in the arcade once, I think, like a few times, but not really hardcore. Or even and then what I like is that you've got the arcade versions of Mortal Kombat 1 and the Super Nintendo and the Mega Drive / Genesis, as you guys call it in North America, versions of those games. So it's going to be great being able to play those games again, bringing back the 90s. And then similar thing, you'll have the arcade version of Mortal Kombat 2, the SNES version and the Mega Drive / Genesis version, and Mortal Kombat 3. Getting the versions for the Super Nintendo, Mega Drive / Genesis, and then Ultimate Mortal Kombat. Some of those games I never got around to playing, and then you'll have the arcade version and the console version, which is great. Even down to the Game Boy versions, and I think Mortal Kombat 4 as well. There are deluxe versions of the games available. I think you get some extra goodies, and there's still bookcase, which I'm not too fussed about. As long as I get the main games, which is, I think there's these mythology games that came out, or side-scrolling games that came out, I think on the Super Nintendo / Mega Drive / Genesis. I have to keep doing that because people might not know what the Mega Drive is, because in the UK, it was called the Sega Mega Drive. I don't know about Japan. I'm assuming it was called the Mega Drive, but in North America and in Canada, the Mega Drive was called the Genesis. Weird, but so I'm looking forward to coming out now. According to Amazon, it says it's coming out on the 14th of December, so I don't know how true that is. You've got the Game Boy games as well on there as well. Mortal Kombat 4, I think. What other Mortal Kombat is there? Mortal Kombat Gold, I think it's on there. I'm not 100% sure that's going to be on there. And some other things, probably going to be hidden features in it. So it's going to be great being able to play the arcade versions of the games, plus the console versions of each of the games. So and who knows what other surprise to put in there. And from the time I pre-ordered it on Amazon, it's dropped down in price twice. So I'm actually happy about that it's dropped down in price. So I'm happy that I can't complain that it's dropped down in price. If it drops down even further than that, then even better. Now it is coming out on the PlayStation 5, Xbox. Although you will be able to buy it digitally at some point. So it is coming out on Xbox, PS5, Switch 1 and Switch 2. Ordinarily, I probably would have got it on the Switch 2. But the reason why I chose the PS5 and just the normal edition, not the deluxe version. And I chose the PS5 version just because it's just going to be easier for me to stream it, whether or not I record it. Say, matches, whether they're playing it on single player or story mode. If I record it offline and then I can upload it, or I can record it directly to Twitch or directly to YouTube. And I remember on a rare occasion I do live stream on YouTube, but very, very rarely. So maybe I might even do a couple of the Mortal Kombat games on there. Once I get good at them, I might do a couple of live streams on there. So that's the reason why. Although I can live stream Twitch on the Xbox, but unfortunately I can't record like long play, like an hour's worth or half an hour of footage. It only allows you to do like the 30 seconds or the last 15 or 30 seconds of something, which is a bit weird. And it's a bit of a disappointment that the Xbox does that. And then this Switch, although it probably would have switched to, would have been perfect. You know, the fact on the Switch 2, with it being a hybrid console, you can play it on TV or you play it on portable mode. That would have been perfect. But it's a little bit, it's about £10 more. And the fact that streaming it would be incredibly difficult, because when I stream and when I'm streaming directly to Twitch or YouTube, I'm using the consoles to do it, not an Elgato card. Again, that's something later on the line that will change in the future when I can invest in the proper equipment, and then I can start doing Nintendo games as well. So that's going to be the case. Maybe in the future I might buy the Switch 2 version again, just to have it portably. But for the meantime, it's the PS5 version. I don't know if there's any cross-play with the Legacy Collection. Probably isn't. But yeah, I am looking forward to getting that game. And if it is coming out right about 14th of December, perfect for Christmas. So that's one game that I've pre-ordered, and don't usually do that aside from Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta, which again hasn't arrived yet. So looking forward to that. And again, apparently got another Switch 2 game coming, which again, all these games you'll be seeing unboxed on the YouTube channel. The other one I can't, the other Switch 2 one I can't surprise yet, because I don't want to say it until I actually get it. So we got that. And speaking of games, on the PlayStation 5, it was the 50th anniversary of the PlayStation. I think of PlayStation, and they were offering a 14-day trial of PlayStation Plus Premium for 14 days. And I've been tempted to want to subscribe to that, but it's like £13.50 a month, which is expensive. I suppose give me correct, Game Pass right about the same ballpark figure for the premium edition of it. But when you work out, if you get it for a year, even if you buy the package for a year or 6 months, you'd think it would be a little bit cheaper rather than, you know, doing that. But it's expensive. And then obviously with the premium, you get the game trials, and you can play some PS1, PS2 games, PS3 games as well, and some big PS5 games via the PlayStation Plus Premium. And again, I had it for 2 weeks, and so I managed to cram in a lot of games. I played Grand Theft Auto 3, the Definitive Edition. Well, that's slightly different because some of the music in that is been taken out. I know it's a Michael Jackson tracks taken out of that game and Vice City, because obviously probably lost the license to use those games. And obviously what I liked about the GTA 3, better frame rate, seemed a lot smoother, better detail. And what I also liked is the fact that they put a checkpoint system in it. So basically, you can buy weapons, and obviously if you find all 100, for every 10 parcels you find in the game, which are scattered around the island, even in the original version of GTA 3 on the PlayStation and the Xbox, if you collected all, for every 10 you would get a weapon. So by the time you get 100, you get all the major weapons rather than having to buy them. If you do, I think one of the police missions, I think you get armor, but you have to do 100 missions. And I think if you do the tax missions, I don't know what you get, but I do know if you do the ambulance missions, I think if you get 100, then you get health at your own hideout. But what I find really annoying with the original versions of GTA 3, Vice City, and even San Andreas, basically, if you had all the weapons and you basically died, you basically had to drive all the way to where the mission. So if you died, say if the mission was on another part of the island, and then you died during that mission, you basically have to drive all the way back just to do it again, and you lose all your weapons unless you go to a hideout and you save it after every mission. And so if you die, then you just reload it. What's really great about the quality of life improvements they've done is, if you got a certain amount of weapons and you died during a mission, it asks you, do you want to replay from checkpoint? So if you say yes, it basically puts you from when that person is telling you the mission, and then you go off and do it. So that makes it, in some ways, it makes the game a lot easier, but a lot better, because it's it could be really frustrating. So I like that, but I didn't finish it. although when it comes to the definitive edition of the GTA games, whether it's GTA 3 in the package, Vice City, which was one of my favorites, and San Andreas, which all three games I do own on the original PlayStation 1 anyway. On the PlayStation 2, sorry. I can still play them, but obviously not gonna have that quality of experience. So yeah, it's those games I do I'm hoping that the definitive edition trilogy package will drop down at some point, and then I will buy whether it's PlayStation or Xbox. I will definitely pick them up at some point. The PS2 versions, the quick story about because with the GTA 3, I used to play it around my mate's house. So after he finished playing it, I would play it, and then he would help me find the parcel, so I started to find the weapons. And then eventually, what happened was, I just decided to buy a PlayStation 2 myself. So I bought the fat original PlayStation 2, and that was the silver one. And then I ended up buying the GTA 3 and Vice City double pack, which it came in this, and which it's sold and not sold separately. And it came in the double pack. And then I remember just having, and then I bought a 21-inch Nikon CRT TV. And I remember in my room, just when I was bored, I just couldn't sleep, just playing it, and it was so addictive, and playing those games, and then eventually buying the San Andreas, and pre-ordering that from Play.com when that was around, and getting the game 3 or 4 days before the game release. I tell you, a lot of people were jealous at the time, right, when I said I got that game really early. So I was able to play that, and I tried out some of the game trials. So that's my phone going off. I tried out Returnal, which wasn't a game trial. The full game was on there, and when I saw the premise of the game, when I heard about it, and basically where you keep dying, I mean, you have, each time you die, you hear memories of your character. So they're basically telling you stuff that's going on, and then you die, and you keep repeating and dying and being reincarnated. You keep coming back, dying, reincarnated. And I thought to myself, no, I'm not gonna like this game. I'm not gonna like this game. The fact you have to, it's kind of like Zombie U, in a sense of in Zombie U, where the only difference is with Zombie U is that when you die, you come back as a completely different character. There's no story to that character, then you can find your weapons. If you find your former self as a zombie, but you can find. But then what I think happens is that as you die, you don't keep. You keep the pistol, but the other weapons that you do find in the game, and the other rifles, I think you don't keep them. You have to find them again. And the story objective is still there, so you don't have to redo the story from scratch. So that's good. And then there's fast travel, so to certain points of that particular part of that planet or the area. So once you unlock it, at one point when you die, you can just fast travel back to that particular bit to where you were. And then there's a survival mode where if you take on this particular creature with your avenging your own death, and I think you get some rewards here and there. And so there's a lot of things that I used to understand, but the graphics look really good, the controls really good. And after playing it, it's one of them games where when it's kind of been explained to you, like kind of how I'm doing it, or you see someone else doing it, or you watch a video playthrough of it, seems kind of boring, but when you actually play, it's actually quite fun, and that did get quite good views. So I'm actually on the lookout to try and find that cheap, although secondhand it's still very expensive. The cheapest I've seen it for it is about £18 in CEX, but they don't have it in stock in my one. And if you do order it online from CEX, then they charge you. So yeah, it's definitely a game that I definitely want to try out. Also tried out The Last of Us Part 1, which I do have the remastered version for PS4. To be honest, I played about an hour. I think I played about, I don't know if I played an hour or 2 hours of it, and I basically couldn't tell the difference between that and the remastered version. It didn't look much difference. Maybe some fine detail here and there, but I couldn't tell the difference. I did play The Last of Us Part 2, the PS5 version of it as well. 2 out of that. Although I do have The Last of Us Part 2 on PS4. Although you can upgrade it, but I'm not going to do that. And that was interesting as well, especially if you watch season 2 of The Last of Us HBO series. So I've been playing that. I've still not a fan of the story, but the gameplay and what you have to do is pretty cool. So I tried that. That was 2 hours. Some of the games were even, like some Death Stranding 2 was a 5-hour trial. Returnal was the full game. Same thing with GTA 3. Doom and the Dark Age was an hour. So I got an hour's worth of that, and the other games were like 2 hours. So that was kind of great to try those games out. So Returnal I liked, despite what I thought I said about The Last of Us Part 2. It was pretty cool. The mechanics of that, again, I said before, I'm going to be doing a playthrough of that game. It'll be the PS4 version of it. I'm not going to pay for the upgrade. Can't really be bothered, to be honest. So I've already done The Last of Us a lot of The Last of Us 1, or Part 1 as it's known as now, especially if you've got the remake of that on PS5, which I'm not going to buy again. And I need to do the Left Behind, the DLC, which I got to do. I did try Tekken 2 in it, which I do still own the PS1 version of that, and I was really rusty at it. And then they did, and I think they did a Tekken 6 in there, which I do have on the PlayStation 3, I think, somewhere. Again, that's something I can't live stream. I did try out Resident Evil Director's Cut, the one on the PlayStation, and the FMV intro on that was reacting. It was really cheesy. Although it's got the tank controls in it, it did take a while to get used to. But once I kind of I got used to it. Although I have played Resident Evil the first one before, but I played Resident Evil remake, the one that first came, that was on the GameCube, and that was when I got my GameCube, I think that was the second game that I bought, which was Resident Evil remake. So I know they added about 30 or 40% more added stuff in it. So when I was playing the Resident Evil Director's Cut, which I don't know what it is between the original one and the Director's Cut, there was a lot of things that were different. So when you go into the dining room and you go to the next room, you see that zombie eating that person, and then if you sit and eventually defeat that zombie, on the remake, you go up, you see that body and you find some ammo, and then you can go up these stairs and you find these crows and these crow cages, but that's not in the PS1 version, right? And what's really great about this is that you can either save it by the ribbons, or you can, if there's a solid state, save in it, which if you press R2, it allows you to save it and reload it at any point, or you can rewind it. So that was really great. And then when you do download it, it asks you whether you want the PS4 version or the PS5 version. And I'm assuming that the difference is that I don't think the controls are probably going to be any different, but it seemed like the graphics seemed a bit cleaner. Because when I've watched other reviewers talk about Resident Evil Director's Cut, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis being re-released, and you can download the PS5 version of it, that the graphics seem a bit better. So again, I've never tried Resident Evil 1, regardless if it's Resident Evil 1 or the Director's Cut, just Resident Evil 1 remastered. I've just watched somebody play Resident Evil 1. Resident Evil 2, the original one that was on PlayStation 1, I got to play that for about an hour and a half. And again, I never played it on PlayStation 1. I think that was what it was released on. Although, back in the day, I did want to get it for the N64. And for whatever reason, I never ended up getting around it. Then again, it's a similar thing where the graphics seem to be a lot cleaner. And you got a solid state save. You can save it anytime you want. You can save it by the ribbon as well. And the graphics seem a lot cleaner. Again, it's still got the tank controls, which got a while to get used to. But, it did have the tank controls in the remake as well. Although when they released the remake remastered, you got a choice of the tank controls, the new controls, so that was great when they released it on the PlayStation, Xbox consoles. And I have to admit, I really enjoyed Resident Evil 2, so playing it for an hour and a half was great. And then Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, I played that and I actually really enjoyed that. Similar thing, graphics seemed a lot clear. It didn't look like a PlayStation 1 of where it actually was. You got this solid state save, you can save it anywhere, or you can use the ribbons. And I enjoyed it. But to buy the game separately, they're like $7.99. And again, all three games you can download the PS5 version of it, which I thought at first was weird. Why it said, do you want the PS5 over the PS4 version? And that's what I got the PS5 version because I'm playing on PS5. So I got to play that, and then Doom the Dark Age, which I enjoyed. Of all the last mission I was on was really tough. I do own the new version of Doom, and then Doom Eternal. So I'll be doing playthroughs of those. although some of those games obviously are available on Game Pass, especially with Doom: The Dark Age. Well, I don't have Game Pass. I'm trying to think of other games I was playing, but there's quite a few. But yeah, I've already said Returnal. Yeah, Death Stranding 2 on the beach. There was a trial of that, and that took a while to get used to, because a lot of the stuff it doesn't explain to you. Couldn't stream it. Well, I probably could have on Twitch, because most ADs that they mute it, but on obviously YouTube it would have been impossible, because the music comes in and out of it. And again, there's a recap of Death Stranding 1, which I actually do own. I think I would have uploaded that. For Christmas I bought Death Stranding 1, the director's cut. I got given that for Christmas, so I've got that. So I might do some streams of that on Twitch, but I don't think I'm going to upload it to YouTube, because it's copyright games and you have to keep muting it. It's going to be a complete pain. But the graphics look really detailed, and again, it's one of the games where it kind of looks boring to watch, but once you actually start playing it and you start getting a hang of what you have to sit there and do, it looked kind of really great. And again, it's the brainchild of Kojima. Hopefully, maybe Death Stranding 2 does get put on the Xbox console. Again, I already have a PS5 already, because you've already got Death Stranding director's cut version on the Xbox as well. So I'm trying to think what that's the only. I did try to play Crisis Remastered, and that kept breaking my PS5, and it kept crashing, which I was doing about 13 minutes into the stream, and it completely froze up. So I had to hard reset my PS5. And when I looked online, apparently that's what it does. So that was really disappointing. I think I played Space Hammer. Is it 20,000 Space Hammer, Space Marine 2? I'm probably not getting the title of that right. Again, there was a 2-hour trial of that, and I did play the first hour and then uploaded it to YouTube, and I did the second hour. You can check where I was at. Again, that's another game. It kind of reminded me of maybe it's me. Did remind me of Gears of War, and obviously we've got the Gears of War Reloaded now on PlayStation 5 now, and who knows, maybe the Switch at some point. So I got to play those two games, and I can't remember if I did any other games, and there was loads of other games, and unfortunately, and that's the reason why, because I only had 14 days, and some days I couldn't do streams because I was just completely tired. So I missed out on some things. I couldn't do everything. So it's something in the future that if I can somehow get it for another month, because I've got Ubisoft Plus for another few days before that goes. But who knows? Maybe definitely in the future, I'm definitely thinking about getting it again at some point. Maybe if I get a good lottery win, then I'll get it for another month. I'll get it for a month this time, and then see what it's like. But yeah, that's really good. The only disappointment I had is that some of the game trials of some games that I saw in the past, I think Gran Turismo 7 and for Horizon Forbidden West, the game trials weren't on there for some weird reason. And years ago, I wanted to sit there and try those games out. They weren't on there for some weird reason, and especially with the latter, both games came out right about when the PS5 came out. You would have thought that they would have put the full games on there, like what they've already done with Returnal, which is a newer game. You've got Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2, the PS5 versions of them on there. So I don't know why they couldn't have done that, why they couldn't have kept Gran Turismo 7 and Forbidden West in there. It's the only irritating thing that I don't like, is when, so they do that where with the premium, obviously you got to play PS1, PS2 games, and they don't seem to be. I know that of the last couple of years, they've increased the price of it. They haven't put more PS1 games in it, which is a bit weird. Same with the PS2 as well, and PS3. That to me, there should have been more. I know that Nintendo did that with their online membership, but at least you've got like things like the NES, you got the Super Nintendo, you got the N64, you got the GameCube, and there's tons of stuff on there, and they don't genuinely take the games off of it, as far as I know. They add to it, although they only add new games in there when they feel like it. To be let's just be honest. But in terms of obviously how much for what it's worth, there's with the Nintendo one, at least they put the stuff on there. At Game Pass, similar thing. They keep the games on there, but sometimes they do take the games off of there, but then they do put them back, which is a bit baffles me. So I do for Premium Plus. For me, from what a little taste I had of it was really great. But I do wish there's a lot more classic games that they could be putting on there, whether it's from the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 era, and even some of their older PS5 games out, like Gran Turismo 7. So the games, even Gran Turismo Sport, they could have put on there, even though I already own that, not on there, which is a bit weird. But yeah, I enjoyed that. So I'm going to be slowly going to be uploading that, the stuff that I did from Twitch streams to YouTube. So that's basically why I was kind of tired, because I wanted to fit as much as in before the time ran out. And you know, there's some one or two other games that I didn't get to play, but Returnal, that's the one that kind of surprised me in terms of it was better than what I thought it was going to be. I really surprised, and I actually won it now. And Death Stranding 2 was actually really good, and that's a really new game. And so we had a 5, which was great because it gave you a 5-hour trial. So I'm really looking forward to playing Death Stranding 1 director's cut. They did have Ghost of Tsushima, the director's cut on there, and I didn't get to try that out. And again, that's another game that I want to own physically, but it hasn't dropped down in price either. And I wish I'd had more time to at least try like an hour's worth of that game, just to see what like. But you know, again, who knows? Maybe I might eventually end up getting it, the Premium Plus for a month or something, rather than 2 weeks of all the 2-week trial. I was giving that for free anyway, so I can't really complain. It's nice, you know, at least that Sony at least did that. So I'm really glad that I've at least got a taste of that, of us trying it out, and then I got to stream a lot more on Twitch as well, and then it gave me more content to put on YouTube as well. So I'm really happy. So yeah, it's September the 1st now. It's pretty much gonna, as we're gonna be uploading a lot of the stuff that I did on PlayStation Plus Premium, which I live streamed, to be uploading that to YouTube. More food reviews. I want to do the McDonald's Big Arch before it goes out. I think it's the 21st of September, so I want to do that. I've done some Popeye stuff in the menu, from the Savers menu. So I've done some stuff like that, so I want to do that. Doing more movie and reviews for my collection, and more cinema reviews. I need to do reviews of Superman and short reviews of Superman and Fantastic Four: The First Steps. More comic book stuff I need to do, especially graphic novels. More of my art books, because I haven't done one in ages. More of my figures as well. I've already done an electrical appliance box and another one, which I've just recently done, which I should be uploading. I think I'm going to be uploading that in a few hours, because obviously it's how much the stock of this particular store's got of its stock. So I don't want to do it 3 weeks later when they don't selling it anymore. And I do have some Switch 2 games to showcase as well, and more Blu-ray movies as well to showcase, DVDs, couple one more VHS cassette. Obviously that's gonna be back to Digital 3. More live streaming, as I said, when it comes to Twitch. Maybe hopefully on YouTube if I can get the energy to do more of my art books, but just more of the same. But you know, just hopefully gonna put up more videos and different types of content on my YouTube channel. So that's what I'm hoping to do to September. And I've got a couple of games, brand new games actually coming, fingers crossed. Just trying to wrap this up. Please watch my rant video in regards of Thames Water, because now they're more than doubling the price of the water bills now, and that's very extortionate. We know that it didn't help the fact that decades ago that the Tory party privatised a lot of its companies. So now they're private companies now. So now all they care about is the shareholders now, giving them their profits and dividends, while the average household has to pay more money. And then they've been fined for dumping sewage and water, and then obviously all they do is that they pass it on to the consumer. The customer service, when it comes to complaining about this, the price things, it is absolutely disgusting. The current government, Labour's, to me, is not doing enough. Again, I don't know what they can do in terms of you know, because it's a private company now. It's a shame, really, but you know, it's just the poor people that end up having to suffer. And then a couple of things like social media, you've seen a lot of racism in there, where it's been on Facebook and Twitter, and it's been really off-putting in there when you're seeing people doing that. And it's not, especially being a person of colour myself, you're trying to like bite your lip and not having to, you know, to reply to some of these idiots. Then you got the Snyderverse fanboys as well being stupid. It's just childish. Something you just need to let it go. As I said before, it's like being in a relationship with a girl and things go wrong. Even though you still love her, you kind of have to realise that it's over. But it's like a cult. Then it's the whole negative side of people being hateful on the social platforms, racist, homophobic, sexist as well. It's just sometimes I just, I just don't stay for long periods of time because it can really be really depressing on things like that. So you've got that, and then my team Tottenham, where we've been humiliated twice with the Gibbs White deal, the Eze to Arsenal, we know that, and then we've finally got somebody players, but then now today's the last day of the transfer window at September the 30th. Instead of it closing 11 p.m, it closes 7 p.m. So all these teams are going to be doing last minute deals. When you've got Alexander Isaac, who according to Fabrizio Romano, has agreed a deal to go to Newcastle to Liverpool, which will be their record deal of 130 million. Wow, that's a record. And the fact that he sold because he didn't want to play Newcastle no more just shows that if you want to leave, just sit there and say I'm not going to play and not be professional. But as for all now, it's all about money now. And I said before, Tottenham's been kind of depressing because we lost against Bournemouth, and also the fact that we've been handling our signings, the summer transfer window, badly, especially with Son, our captain, obviously leaving after being there a couple of 10 years. They've got 20 million for him. They haven't replaced him. Then you've got Madison, who's got an ACL. That's a knee injury. So he's going to be out for the entire season. And then you've got Kulusevski, who some say he's going to be back in January 2026, some in February. And so now being in the Champions League, should be a high quality for the Europa League from last year. And then Levy saying he wants to win things, which I wish he had kept his trap shut. It's made our transfer dealings has been really Kudus was a good signing, and Polino has been a good signing, and Simone we've signed good signing, but to me I feel like we just haven't done enough, and we've left it very little too late. We should have started doing our deals earlier on, so it would have given us more wiggle room to get some more players in and then get rid of players that we don't want. And I'm kind of disappointed again that we're not getting we're not seeing a lot of any of our youth players coming through. They're just being put on loan, which I know to do with the British quota, but you have to have a certain amount of foreign and English players. But it would just win out to some English players coming through, and some of our players are underperforming, or some of them you end up thinking stuff like, were they really worth the amount of money that we paid for them, or they paid for them, because I didn't pay for them. Especially we had a good start, the first 2 games we won, and again now it's the international break now because of so Tottenham don't play until the 13th of September, which will be against West Ham. So that will be our derby, which either one of us will turn up or not turn up. So yeah, that's the vlog for September 2025. See you again next month in October.